Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to more content on the channel. In today's video, we're going to play some more Rise crossover. Guys, the game got a pretty big update and a lot of things have changed. The highlight overall of this update is this new castle event thing that they have going on every 45 minutes of every hour. And it honestly is game changing, brother. This thing is busted. I'm excited to share with you guys what else they've added into the game. So hopefully you guys are excited. If you want to support your boy and want to see more content on this game, just drop a like on the video. Thank you guys very much.
Hey, yeah, I've been laying low and getting to some plays with the bros, cause the pros got a pro with all under control.
Alright guys, so we are in game and we're gonna start this off with a little bit of a banger for y'all, right? So we're gonna go into the shops real quick and oh, they added in a mounts bundle. They didn't mention anything about that. But you can speed up your gameplay with the mounts bundle. This bundle gives you 2 fast mounts to speed up your gameplay. So I don't know if these are going to be any different than what we have. And by that, I mean just currently what we have in game. I don't know if these are new additions because, again, they didn't specify anything about that in the update log. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys that you can use a brand new code called Dusts. Oh my God, why is it not working? Oh, actually, I had a space in front of the dust. So yeah, make sure you guys don't use the space in front of it. So again, just use dusts and you guys will go ahead and get some obviously dusts, as you guys can tell. Now, if you guys have been playing the game, you would know that swords are the brand new meta. In fact, I actually have finally started to make my way up to the best current sword in the game, which is the Reaper Scythe. I don't have it just yet. I have this twin jeweled rods, right? But swords are definitely the way to go. They are super meta and do a bunch of damage. However, with this latest update, that might have just changed. But let me explain to you guys why I'm mentioning swords and things of that nature. If you go into weapons now, they've changed it to where you can actually multi-sell weapons. And you can now actually lock your weapons if you would want to lock it and prevent it from being sold or whatever the case is. So those are 2 pretty cool additions, again, to the weapons inventory and just some QOL, right? Beyond that, we're going to make our way down to solo leveling city because that's really where the bulk of the content for this update is located at. So as you guys can see, we're in the starter area of solo leveling city. Guys, I want to let you know that if you walk straight down over here at every 45-minute mark of every hour, a big red gate will spawn here. It's like a flaming gate, and that's where the castle will actually spawn in at. All right, I'll show you gameplay of that and footage in just a bit, but for now, since it's not spawned in, we're gonna go ahead and actually dive into the CL tower, right, which is where guilds are located and all that good stuff, where you can rank up as well if you want to rank up. So now when you guys come in here, if you hit an immediate left, they've actually added in a little training dummy. So if you guys ever wanted to check out like, oh, how much true DPS am I actually doing or whatever, right? If you wanted to have a control environment for damage testing purposes and just seeing like abilities for your shadows, this is where you guys can come do that now. And talking about shadows, right? If I have my shadows follow me over here, you guys can see how my shadows all look like, right? Well, this is a new thing. You guys might be like, damn, Vex, what are you talking about, Twin? I don't see no change. Them gents look all the same. Well, if I start unequipping these guys, you guys will see that they actually are not all the same. So I'll put on like this S rank. I'll put in an A rank. And like, I don't know, I'll put maybe like an E rank or whatever. So if you guys take a look at all my units, S ranks and above will now have different VFX on them. Okay, so you guys can see how my A rank doesn't have like this little white like aura VFX to it, but my S rank does. And then double S ranks have this little electricity around it, and so on and so forth up to my G rank, as you guys can tell. So they all have slightly varying VFX. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. Like it really only matters for noobs as they progress. Like this update, in my opinion, is very much geared towards progression and just like facilitating that whole process for players, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So to some people, it might not seem that grandiose. It might seem like a mid update, but it is a progression based update, and that's what they're really focusing on right now. And I'm happy to see it because it lets people play catch up. You know, they don't get lost in new updates. They are allowed to actually keep up with the rest of the player base. So going off of that, we also have this exchange shop here that you can now come into. Dusts are now like exchangeable, if you will, beyond just the legendary power dust. So now you can exchange for common, rare, You can use a different type of currency for the rare one over here, and you can also get the legendary powder dust as well. Additionally, they've implemented this ultimate rank up ruin. Okay, you guys can read the description here. This ranks up an S rank dungeon to double S rank. That's super OP, very useful. And again, this is part of this new update. Now, they've also added in a rank down ruin, but I believe the rank down ruin is a drop from somewhere. They didn't specify where in the update log, but just want to let you guys know that's also part of the update log. And on the topic of the rank up ruin that you can get from the exchange shop, this increases, you can use this, like, for example, on any dungeon rarity. It doesn't necessarily want to, like, have to be, an S rank dungeon. You can use it on other rank rarity dungeons, but it's important to know that it increases dungeon rank by 2 levels. Okay, so it can promote an S rank to obviously double S rank. Double S rank dungeons still will only spawn naturally or by using ultra ruins on an S rank. Okay, so that has not changed. Just want to let you guys know. Using an A rank dungeon, or using the rank up on an A rank dungeon, will only turn it into an S rank, unfortunately. So I know it's a little contradictory to the 2 rank ups that I just mentioned, but I'm just going word for word, bar for bar, verbatim how they're talking and noting things down in the update log on the Discord server. Now, if we go into the menus and go into the AFK world real quick, guys, they've added in 2 new rewards. They added in a brand new mount. You guys can see all the different rewards, by the way, over here. But they've added in a brand new mount. It's a horse mount and a brand new weapon skin, which is the Holy War Axe. All right. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a yap, but they've done a lot of big major changes to the rank system and dungeon times. So these are all going to be in UTC time. So you guys are going to have to use like a time zone converter to your time zone to actually know at what time things are going to correspondingly be at. Okay. And while I yap to you guys, I might as well just, be grinding some cash. But basically at 12 UTC, there's going to now be a guaranteed double dungeon spawning into the game. That's awesome. All right, we also have guaranteed S rank dungeons at these times, which is going to be 00 UTC. It's going to be at 9 UTC, 12 UTC, 18 UTC, and lastly but not least 21 UTC. Okay, so just letting you guys know these are the time zones now and how things will be going down. Now, if I go into my index and I show you guys, for example, my Beru at G rank, and I'm gonna put max level. If max level is 255, you might be like, what the hell? How's that possible? I thought it was 250. Yeah, you're right, guys, but they've changed this now. So ranks, right? Like player ranks actually affect various different things now. Okay, so it's not like a flatline 5% damage increase for your shadows and your weapons anymore. They've actually changed that up. So now what'll happen is that when you are S rank, which I am, right, it'll give your shadows an additional 5 levels that they can gain. Okay, so that is monumentally game breaking and OP as hell, because for example, like I said, my Beru at level 250, okay, was doing 12.98 trillion damage. 5 levels, just 5 levels, puts him at 19.71 trillion damage. Okay, so, and again, it's not just for S rank. Okay, it starts at S rank, but it's not just for S rank. So at S rank, you get an additional 5 levels that you can give your shadows. At double S rank, you get an additional 10 levels you can give your shadows. At G rank, you get an additional 20 levels. And if you just so happen to be at the national level, at the N rank, okay, you will get a whopping 30 levels smacked on top of your freaking shadows levels, my boy. All right, that is insane. All right, so I just showed you, right? 5 levels took my Beru from 12 trillion to 19 trillion, twin. Just imagine what 30 levels is gonna do to him. God dang. Now, if I show you guys my inventory as well, this is also a different change now, right? So your shadow buff multiplier has changed, and it's also contingent on the player rank. So it's hard for me to visualize this for you guys, but I'm going to show you the table real quick. All right, so check this out, twin. So basically, this is the shadow buff multiplier per player rank, right? Shadows are buffed, like the damage that they deal, right, irrespective of their level, are going to be buffed at a flat 1 times multiplier. So basically no change when you're an E rank. When you become a D rank, it'll be a 1.1 times multiplier, right? So basically, before it was a 5%. Now it's basically a 10% because everything's going up by 0.1 at every rank up. So as you guys can see, like I said, D rank 1.1, C 1.2, all the way up until N rank, where, bro, the cutoff is between SS and G. That's like, bro, you're gonna jump up a 0.4 and then a whopping 1 from G to N. So, and obviously, you know, you have Monarch at the bottom where you have a 4 times multiplier for the amount of damage that bro, it's just insane. It really is, chat. Like, you're gonna be doing damage out your booty hole right now, brother. All right, I'm sorry. Like, I know it's a little explicit to say it like that, brother, but you gonna be dealing all kinds of damage. It's gonna go crazy. But on the note of damage and stuff like that and buffs, I want to let you guys know that unfortunately, nothing changed for swords. Okay, swords still remain the same, where they get that 5% additional weapon damage every rank up. All right, the last piece of yapping that I'm about to do right now, because I'm doing a whole lot of yapping, but you know, you guys should appreciate this because I'm letting you know the nitty gritty. You know what I mean? So they've increased the double dungeon spawn rate chance by a whole whopping 50%. Okay, so they're gonna be much more likely to spawn in. The people in the Discord server would be crying when every dungeon that spawns in is not a double dungeon. So now there should be a whole lot more of them. Okay, because it's 50% more common to get them now. They've also increased the guild max size for players to 35. They increased the dust limit that you can carry on yourself, like your carrying capacity for the items and your dust. Like, for example, I have 120. You guys can see here visually, you can have a total of 1,250 dust on you per rarity, which is cool, pretty cool. And last thing I will mention is that they buffed shadows damage like across the board. So yeah, lots of buffing damage and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's insane. It's so freaking easy to become powerful now. But onto this thing that's not gonna spawn for the next 20 something minutes for me, or 30 minutes. So I'm gonna have to pop up some footage of when I originally ran the I think it's called the Ethereal Castle. Well, your boy's a whole liar. It's not the Ethereal Castle, it's called the Infernal Castle. And like I said, it spawns right here every 45 minutes of every hour in Solo Leveling City. While I yap to you guys, you will see content and footage on screen of me playing through the actual castle itself. This event is super OP to me because, as you guys can see, like, you are able to get up to G rank drops from your summons. Okay, so you can possibly arise a G rank oGVexx out of this freaking event. It's so freaking cool. And you can get SS rated shadows from literally just about any shadow currently in the game, because as you guys will see throughout the course of the gameplay within this castle, basically the mob types just span from any available island right now. So you'll be fighting things like your Okyura, like NPCs from the JoJo's Island, from the Chainsaw Man Island, from Grass Village. Like, it's just all the current NPCs that are in the game are in this event, and it's really great. Like I mentioned prior, this update, really, all the updates lately have been geared toward progression, and this facilitates the ease in which players can attain better units and better shadows overall. And plus, for you sweats that are out there, if you have a couple of, like, you know, G rank Berus, excuse me, but you need something to hold up the rest of your team because you don't have a full party of them, you can do this every 45 minutes of every hour and get yourself a G rank oGVexx. Who knows? And I find it interesting that they actually did show the fact that you can get oGVexx as a G rank on the icon for when you open up the reward section to this event, excuse me, because I was under the impression that G rank was only for legendary rank or above, but maybe they changed that too now. I don't really know. Or maybe the icon for oGVexx was just a placeholder, and the G rank that you get in here is for something else. Maybe like Jinwoo or some other unit like Beru. I don't know. But basically, guys, this has 100 floors total. You get 15 minutes, I believe, if I remember correctly, to be able to clear all those rooms out. And I want to say every 5 rooms, you get an attempt to actually summon a boss, okay? For my experiences, or my attempts rather, I've been able to consistently get a boss at every 5 rooms. So that should be the case for you guys as well. If it doesn't happen, I don't know, maybe I was getting lucky. But this is what I mean by the fact that this update makes getting powerful so much easier now, because instead of waiting around for dungeons, you get a chance every 5 rooms in this to get yourself a double S rank boss unit, okay? Or maybe even a G rank unit, who knows? So I know that might sound like all cool and dandy, and you know, you might be like, damn, bro, it's so easy to win, but just note that, you know, they do recommend that you be an S rank to actually try the event out every you know, hour, basically every 45 minutes of every hour. So, and like for myself, for example, and I have like about like what, like 50-80 trillion DPS or something like that. Like once I get to floor 16, 17, them boys start airing me out, cause I can't really keep grinding from there. So take it with a grain of salt, but that's pretty much all there is to it for this update, guys. Pretty packed.